She kept on rolling after that, continuing to come out to the Hampton Roads performing arts scene, and I think she caught the fire and turned it into more writing and more writing and more writing, and has already stacked up a second book, which she's bringing you tonight, and that's So Far Away. And I'm hoping to see where all this goes in short order. I think that she's still writing more and more. Since releasing that book, she's been to a couple of open mics, and I've heard her say, I'm going to read you from my new book, but I've got some other stuff I've written since then. And I'm like, let's keep going, keep producing. So, to our productive and, I don't know, productive is the word I want to end on there. To a productive future with Terra Leigh, I bring her up so that she can present to you her second book, So Far Away.
Hi, everybody. Hi. How are y'all today? Good. I'm so glad the weather did not stop you, because I was worried about that. So I'm looking at y'all today, and I see some of you who know me as Miss Tara, the daycare teacher. Some of you know me as Tara, the worship singer. I've got somebody who knows me as Tara, the saber fencer, and my event planner knows me as my mom's or Vivian's mini-me. So I think only a handful of you know the person who's standing in front of you today. So, hi, my name is Terra Leigh. I am a poet and editor from Chesapeake, Virginia, and welcome to my book release party for my second book, So Far Away. Yes. It came out on August 13th, 2019. So before we go into the reading, I am all about open mics and performance poetry and how the audience reacts to that. So if I ever read something that you really, really like or you really, really connect to, please don't be scared, snap it up. I want to hear that reaction from y'all today. So can we practice? Everybody hands up. And snap. Thank you. Please use those snappers. All right. When I committed to this book, I was looking for a change in my life. I didn't know what kind, but I knew that life was dull and I needed something else in there. And that whole thought process brought about this first poem in my book, which is called December. December marks the beginning of an end. And you want to end my success with the thoughts of a knife kissing where no man will touch, wonders of what people might say, of a hut on a snowy mountaintop where I can sleep away the stacked pain. But a spotlight shines in my eyes, thrill reawakening beats of my passion. My voice dances with and without music, the most talented in my system. I can't abandon this child I conceived with God, my husband. So December marks the beginning of an end, the end to reckless abandon. Okay, we can do it like that too. A lot of you know that I am a very busy person. I have many hats, I have many things I do. Some of it is good and some of it can be a little bit bad. But just thinking about that, I knew that I had to prioritize my writing and what I need to do with that and all of my responsibilities. So that brought about this next poem, Obligations. Okay, and I will be honest, some of this is a little deep and you won't recognize the person in front of you, but yeah. Obligations. He throws another book on my back, says I'm not done yet. I've lost track of the days hunched over in his business. Some days I sneak away to meet my love, but the walls whisper of my selfish deeds and he beats me after. I'm sorry, children. I've lost my breath in all his stacked due dates. I'm late in hanging Christmas decorations. I can't tell him I'm pregnant or that whip will cling to my back. Each slap another inch, the baby slips down into oblivion. He's caused too many already. He throws another book on my back, eyes dull and bumpy as old gravel, but I bite my lip and do as he says. One day, this will end. Thank you. Like, it's really weird because y'all don't know this kind of deep person that I seem to be in my poetry. So reading this, I'm like kind of nervous. So I put a little bit of palette cleansers in my book, and this one, Rainy Days, is just a little bit about me, something you get to know for Terra Leigh. I love watching the rain, watching it sprinkle water over my lilies, on the grass Mom wants to kill, watching it mold to my car and slide down caverns I don't know of, how it builds, clouds desperate to release their stress on people who don't want it, ripples rolling down my window, cleaning the glass because it knows I'm too lazy, pitter-pattering my eardrums of every past second, of past sound, rinsing away clogged images in my brain. I love watching the wall it makes, blocking me from the outside world so I can sit with the people in my mind, collaborate for hours to write the best poems. I love watching the rain. This next poem I kind of threw in after this past reading I did at Aroma's coffee shop in Newport News. With this change that I was looking for in my life, I got a little bit greedy and I felt like I wasn't getting exactly what I wanted. So I tried writing this next piece from the writing's perspective. So this is called More. And I'm sorry for what happens midway through. She's always asking for more, piling her desires with .7 lead, repeating them in her head while driving home. I'm the man who bends to her will, gives her a world of attention while reality ignores her, translates her scattered brain in aerial and calibri, a recording of her thoughts so she hears what she's saying. I am her voice while her lips bleed from sucking in her speech. But those large eyes are not satisfied, addicted to obvious progression. Damn it, I'm not Jesus. Now, when we talk, her words are muddy, and the hand caressing my skin is a translucent glove. She's always asking for more. It's here. It really is here. It's right there. But I did a sermon at church one day, and I really just focused on my anxiety, which is something that I battle with daily. And at the time that I was writing this book, I was trying to get to Japan, and I had the whole layout. I was going to study poetry at a university, and it was going to be great, but that didn't work out. And just thinking about that whole process and going through it at the time, I wrote this next poem, which is called Anxiety. He's that friend who comes to award shows, graduation parties, and book releases, but instead of clapping, he hides his self-loathing behind questions of what I'll do next. My only defense is a smile and shrug. Living in the moment is never enough. He asks me how I got here, critiques each step with a red pen, tells me how he would have done better, bitterness seeping from his congratulatory smile. But no matter my silent groans or thanks before continuing on, he never catches the hint, and I'm too nice to tell him to shut up. So with these next two, I try to make a title poem for my books, and I'm just going to read both of them because either one of them could have been the title track for the book. This first one, which I really like, it's called Inverted Deception. Days upon days dogpile on my back. I am the lone base trying to keep this human triangle balanced. Inverted in my perceptions, deceived by my directions, this is not how life should go. I was scared of hard work. No, I was scared of the failure after, so I almost sacrificed you to the mundane, almost smothered you in those fake firm pillows hotels offer, and watched the world pass by from a balcony I wanted to jump off of. But you'd always hold my hand and tell me a little longer. With you, I could always smile after people laughed in my face. With you, I could see the leap and feel the flight after, because there's nothing else I need here. So I'm sorry for all the broken bones, the dislocations, all the blood loss. I'm gonna flip this all over so you and I are sitting on top of the world. And now the actual title poem. This is called So Far Away, and it starts with a quote from one of my favorite Korean rappers that is translated. Don't worry, I got you all with the English. Dream. May your trials end in full bloom. Dream. Though your beginnings may be humble, may the end be prosperous. I'm dying under the bright lights of computer and cell phone screens. And no matter how she reaches out, the ice won't break between us. I want to rest in her arms, watch her smile because of me, watch her confidence flood an entire room. But my consciousness slips in and out, broken messages popping out of air bubbles. Our tears mingle in these cold waters. I hear her screams, red blotching the image of her cracking each screen, dunking her head in with no caution to the drowning waters. She can't swim, and I can't live without her. So my hand reaches out, frantic fingers closing the gap, fighting the currents to catch the joy that will blossom when our hands finally meet. I'll be damned if we die in the stalemate. Our fingers tangle, and I pull her ashore. I can't feel the snow welcoming us back, but gasps of breath speak our gratitude. Death is not our ending. This next one, I was having a hard time doing everything on my own. I like to take matters into my own hands, and yeah, I need to work on that. But it's funny because somebody said that she really liked this poem, and I actually put it on my set list, so you get to hear it out loud too, CJ. And this kind of sums up how I felt throughout the whole Japan thing. This one's called Flight Training. My wings are a little dirty. You see, I was so excited about flying that I might have missed a step or two, a stop or two, and when I turned around to check, I ran into a post. I should never fly alone. I have no confidence in making choices, and even though God gave me wings, I need a physical hand to hold, to pull me when I start to stray, distracted by fascination, to condone me when I dance around decisions. Sometimes I just need a good smack to the back of my head. Nothing comes easy. But since I turned back to God, the clouds are moving, and I can see my purpose opening like fresh lilies. So this time, I'll learn how to fly without looking back. In the beginning of my book, there's a quote that I made that says, I kind of feel bad for my future husband because he'll have to share me with God, with poetry, and with music. That's a lot to share me with. But writing is really important to me. It really is that. It's like one of the biggest relationships I have in my life. And I tried to use that as the basis for my book. And it takes hard work and commitment to make your dreams come true. But if it's important, then it's worth fighting for. So I wrote this poem after thinking about reading at Busboys and Poets in DC last year in December. Thank you. I got lucky that night. This is called Vow Renewals. Tonight, I sit under a spotlight, reciting our children to people I've never met. Their attention is gasoline, and I just want to kiss you before you go to sleep. It's the last night of our getaway, the reason I've decided to stay, even when your silence makes me want to throw books across the gaps between our understandings. Our relationship is a constant cycle. Trips to the same places, meeting the same people. Others need to see our love. Past Chesapeake, past Virginia, even past America. This is more than Barney's I love you and you love me. Because of you, I have a voice, and because of me, you have a life. So tonight's the night we renew our vows in a room full of strangers. And I'm so glad I can say yes over and over again. I don't want to keep y'all for too long, plus I somehow got to the end of my set list already. But there is a question time after this, so don't worry. So I'll leave you all with one last poem. It's the last poem in my book. And for me, God is very important. He's the whole reason why I'm right here, right now, reading and speaking to you all. So I just had to put this into my book. This is called In His Hands. I placed another dream into my jar, scribbled it on paper, like how I wanted to be a published author, singing on stage in front of others, boarding a plane to Japan. This jar reminds me never to give up on me. There's still time to fly, and I can collect enough dimes to pay for one of these fantasies. Some people look at me like I'm crazy, like there's no time for dreams in a world that demands your body for corporate function. But my Lord reaches down and picks up my jar, says, my, what a child I have in my home. And he shakes it, draws a lucky scrap, tapes it to my back, and lets the world guess what he has given me next. He's kept my jar safe for 28 years, approving the outrageous dates with my dreams. As long as my faith lies in him, every wish will come true. Thank you. I tried to put something together, but I'm very I don't like being up here too long. But I will take a question answer time now. Are there any questions or comments?